Ash Ketchum won the World Pokemon Championship, the single biggest tournament in the entire franchise, and somehow that's the saddest sentence you'll ever hear about him. By the end of this, you'll understand why being the so-called chosen one of Pokemon wasn't a blessing, it was a life sentence with a trophy at the end. Let's start at the very beginning of the problem, because the first reason it sucks to be Ash is one nobody ever fully clocks. The kid is 10 years old, has been 10 years old, and will always have been 10 years old. We are talking about a character who has been on television since 1997, has traveled through 10 or 11 distinct regions, depending on how you count, has fought legendary Pokemon, saved the literal world more than once, and has never, not a single time, had a birthday acknowledged, a grade completed, or a growth spurt. Other kids his age in the real world have graduated high school, gone to college, gotten jobs, had a full identity crisis, and maybe started a podcast. Ash is still out here with the same cap and the same I want to be the very best energy, frozen in amber at age 10, like the universe hit pause on his life and forgot to unpause it. The cute premise is that a kid gets to go on an adventure forever. The cursed reality is that forever also means no stakes, no growth, no consequences that actually stick, and that's before we even get to his best friend. Because Pikachu might be the most loyal companion in anime history, but loyalty doesn't mean Pikachu isn't also kind of a walking disaster for Ash's tournament record. Here's the thing. Pikachu has canonically refused to evolve, turning down a Thunderstone because the bond with Ash matters more than power. Which sounds beautiful until you notice that every single new region they enter, Pikachu starts losing to trainers who just got their first Pokemon yesterday. Seriously, there's a pattern where Pikachu arrives in a new region, gets beaten by some rookie starter, and the whole arc resets like someone hit factory restore on the world's most famous electric mouse. Imagine your car. Your reliable car you've had for years, losing horsepower every time you drove to a new city. Same car, same keys, just somehow slower. And the typing situation doesn't help either. Pikachu is a glass cannon, fast and hit hard when everything goes right, but one ground type move and it's just a yellow lump on the floor. And Ash runs into ground types with the frequency of a man who actively seeks humiliation. But okay, even beyond Pikachu, the deeper curse is what Ash does with the Pokemon he actually trains to greatness. He gives them away. Almost every time he raises something to its peak, full trust, full power, total bond, he releases it, leaves it behind, or sends it somewhere without him. Charizard got left at a training facility. Greninja, who was essentially Ash's most tactically interesting partner ever, got released in Kalos. Goodra went back to its swamp. Naganadel returned through an ultra wormhole. Every time the bond gets strongest, the goodbye gets closest. It's like grinding for a legendary drop in a game, finally getting it, looking at it for a moment, and then throwing it in a river because it belongs in the wild. You could call it generous. You could call it self-sabotaging. The honest answer is it's both, every time, with no sign of stopping. And his rivals have never once had this problem. Which brings us to the rival situation, and this is where the first real plot twist lands. The rivals aren't supposed to win. They're supposed to push the hero, create friction, and ultimately fall behind as the story proves that heart beats everything else. That's not what happens with Ash. Gary Oak started as his hometown nemesis and ended up doing legitimate academic Pokemon research while Ash was still collecting gym badges. Paul was methodical, cold, and strategically brutal, the opposite of Ash's emotional style. And he was right about the meta more often than not. Alon canonically beat Ash in the Kalos League final after a full season of build-up that made it feel like Ash's moment. These rivals don't just beat him once. They graduate past him, build careers, hold titles Ash doesn't have. The cruel irony is that Ash's whole thing is building emotional teams, picking Pokemon he connects with, fighting from the heart. And tournament brackets don't have a heart column. They have type matchups and strategy. His rivals show up with counters. He shows up with feelings. And the scoreboard is honest about which one usually wins, which leads directly into the championship curse. Because this isn't just about individual rivals. It's about 20-plus years of regional league losses before Ash ever won anything. He lost the Indigo League in the top 16 after making it look like he had a real shot. He made it further in later leagues, came heartbreakingly close in Sinnoh, and then the Kalos loss happened. A full season of narrative momentum, character development, impossible stakes, and then Alon won. The fan base felt that one. Imagine being the guy everyone at the office puts first in the fantasy bracket every single year. And every single year, something weird happens in the final round, and you go home with nothing. That's Ash for 2 decades of anime. And the thing about his battle style is that it's genuinely creative. His read on momentum, his improvised move combinations, his ability to find a way when he's outgunned. But creativity without matchup awareness is just a really exciting way to lose, which he demonstrated consistently, regionally, in front of millions of viewers. And then, okay, here's where it actually gets strange, the legendary Pokémon thing. Because while Ash was losing tournaments and releasing his best Pokémon, he was also somehow becoming the most cosmically significant human in the franchise. Lugia acknowledged him. Ho-Oh appeared to him on day 1 of his journey like a sign from the universe. Latias, Solgaleo, Melmetal, legendary and mythical Pokémon that entire organizations have dedicated centuries to chasing, basically handed Ash their phone numbers and then moved on. He has saved the world multiple times, stopped Kyogre and Groudon's war from reshaping the planet, helped restore the Lake Guardians in Sinnoh, personally intervened in crises that should have ended civilization. And what does he have to show for it institutionally? No rank, no title, no salary, no government acknowledgement. He is the universe's favorite unpaid intern, repeatedly called in to fix the apocalypse and then sent home without so much as a commemorative pin. The legendary Pokémon barely stick around. Their typings and movesets brush his orbit for an arc and disappear. Psychic power, ancient water typing, steel tier durability, all of it passes through his life like weather. None of it anchors to his permanent team. He just keeps showing up, saves everything, and goes back to being a 10-year-old with no credentials. Which is why the final reason it sucks to be Ash might be the most twisted one of all. He won. He finally, actually won. The World Coronation Series, the biggest competitive structure the anime had ever built, and Ash went through it, beat Leon, and became world champion. And then the show ended his era. New protagonists, new region. Ash walks into the sunset with Pikachu, exactly like he started, and the story closes behind him like a door with a polite click. Imagine spending 25 years working toward a promotion, clearing every obstacle, proving yourself in every room, and then the day HR confirms you got the job, they also tell you that the position has been eliminated and they're restructuring the whole department around someone new. He didn't get to be champion. He got to have been champion, past tense, in a story that immediately moved on. So yeah, Ash won. The Chosen One delivered, and the universe immediately moved on. That's the whole thing. Being Ash Ketchum means carrying every burden, releasing every reward, saving the world for free, losing the big match for decades, and finishing the race just in time to watch someone else start theirs.